Welcome to the Mystical Journey podcast. I am your host, Hervé Geneza. This is where we investigate together whether it's possible to be completely free. I wonder if we can trigger a permanent and irreversible change. And I'm referring to a revolution of the mind, beyond all concepts and ideas. And I wonder if we can do this together with 100% sincerity, with no stones left unturned. I once talked to someone who said that in life, we all need guidance. We need a mentor. We need someone to show us the way. Maybe someone who understands what we're going through, someone who has more experience, maybe more wisdom, maybe a teacher or a guru, someone who knows best, who can be in a position of authority for which we can rely on in order to understand, be more knowledgeable, be better at something. Someone we hope wants the best for us. Then I started asking myself whether if that idea was truly applicable when it came to consciousness. Here we are concerned with this state, this feeling, or this place of no mind. We're concerned with things that are beyond time and space, right? Enlightenment. We're concerned in transcending life. Now, I want us to look at it together to see if we truly need a guru, right? Someone who is in a position of authority. And we'll do that by investigating, of course, as usual, because we don't want to jump on conclusion. And we don't need to, when we hear this information, there's no need to take a stance, say, I don't like this, or I like this, or I'm against this, or I'm not against this. It's always good to listen, observe yourself while listening, and not actually have the thinking mind take a stance or take a side each time. We're not really looking to take a stand. We're looking to really observe ourselves in these concepts and ideas. Now we'll do that in 4 sections, right? First one will be look at how a mind that is trapped looks like. And this is by exploring the dangers of our conditioning. And then we'll look at a mind that is completely free. And then we'll look at what the definition or the understanding of authority. And we can ask ourselves whether we can question this authority, and maybe even wonder who put anybody who is in a position of authority in the position that they are in. And lastly, we can try and investigate and really figure out whether you can be the guru, the student, the teacher, and the teaching all at once, with absolutely no separation between all those ideas. So, a mind that is trapped. It's easy to observe a mind that is trapped, because a mind that is trapped perhaps actually needs something to rely on, something to cling on, right? And to rely on something, to cling on something, must come from some place. It can't be, you can't want to rely on something, on someone, unless you are in a state, you are in a state of not actually feeling secure. It's because you are insecure that you seek security, safety. something you can rely on. It's almost like you're looking for a guarantee. So we can observe that in all sorts of religions. First of all, the more organized and rigid ones, such as Christianity, Islam, Judaism, in which there is a hierarchy and there is a structure that already built in. You have the church member, who has access to a priest, and maybe there might be even a line of defense in between you and the priest, or maybe someone who's senior for the church between you and the pastor, and then you have the pastor, and then you have senior pastors. It goes on and on, regardless of what the religion is, and it all leads to a higher authority, someone who is almost untouchable, a pope, and there are all kinds of popes, and there are popes that we don't see, and there are popes that we can actually see. It goes up and up, and each authority, each level, all have something to offer to the church member, right? Who they all act on behalf of the highest authority. That's what they say, right? The imam acts on behalf of the highest authority, which is God, and this God is supreme, right? Now, the authority can promise more understanding or guidance into something that's everlasting. Because all religion and spiritual systems are really concerned, always at the center, is trying to secure a place in the afterlife somewhere. Hopefully it's somewhere better than this life, because this life can be really, really hard, pretty harsh. And so by abiding and conforming to a set of rules and commandments and understanding that were set up before they were born in a holy book, then they can follow this and hopefully increase their chances or probability of securing something in the afterlife that's much more comfortable, that's so much better than this life. And a mind that is trapped is by default feels insecure, so it's looking for security. And in order to get that security, this mind is willing to conform to pattern, right? The mind has to fit into a pattern, because if you're a Christian and you don't do the Christian way, regardless of how many denominations they are, then you're really not a Christian, right? And you need a pastor, a priest, someone who's more senior to show you the way, because you can't create your own way and call it the Christian way, unless you're trying to invent a new church, right? Now we have to ask ourselves, why is this mind trapped? Why is this person called trapped? It's basically a layer of identification with the mind, identification with the thinking mind. A mind that is trapped is by default identified with the idea of religion, the idea of God, hell, and paradise. Now, this is not just in a religious sector. This is applicable to all sorts of sectors, right? So if a Christian has put his entire understanding and beliefs and energy into an authority that's called Jesus Christ, right, is because they know that they are insecure. They need to leech and hold on to something with the idea of Jesus Christ. And these give the member some sort of security, which is actually false, which is illusory, just like all securities. Any security from the thinking mind, it has to be false, can never actually be true security. This is applicable to all spiritual systems as well. Whether to the Hindu who basically need the help of a guru or spiritual teacher to give her guidance into channeling or using the energy of a particular god, because this person is considered as a mystic. So this person or this mind is also relying on this information because they feel insecure. They feel insecure because they are in a pattern that is created by the thinking mind, and the thinking mind is born in time. Therefore, it has a beginning and an end. And because it has a beginning and end, it always fears and creates fears of a possibility of an end. And the pursuit of security, the pursuit of a great afterlife, is also another belief that the thinking mind has created to feel secure because it's trying to survive. This creates resistance not only from the daily life of this person who's already in conflict, but also it means anything comes from the trapped mind can never be of the highest good. So the trapped mind who's looking for someone to rely on who can potentially offer better understanding or guidance to the afterlife can never actually create values that even make themselves a good human being, a person who's actually kind-hearted, because the thinking mind only has an idea of what it is to be kind, to be loving, to be compassionate. This person can't even be compassionate to themselves. So they'll always be hard on themselves, extremely hard, criticizing, never satisfied with what they have, regardless of how small or how big it is. They will always trying to take a side. I like this. I hate this. I'm from the left. I'm not from the right. I prefer this culture over this. I prefer the explanation of the afterlife from Christian perspective versus the Muslim perspective versus the ancient Egyptian perspective, because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel secure. And with this security, a hope, which is another creation of the mind, a hope that I can actually be secure and finally free and at peace in the afterlife, right? Because it's already understood by default that there is an end to all of this. The creation of hope, the pursuit of pleasure, the pursuit of love, always creates by default fear. Because it's the pursuit of security, love, pleasure that also comes with the creation of fear. Because there is a fear that the pursuit of happiness may not actually happen. That's why it's usually called a pursuit. There is a fear that the pursuit of love may not actually happen, that this person may end by themselves with no person to love them. There is a fear that the pursuit of the afterlife may not actually offer this peace and tranquility that this person is hoping for. There is a fear that having this career may not actually provide the happiness that you're trying to get out of. So in the end, all pursuits, any pursuit of anything: hope, happiness, wealth, peace, tranquility. All pursuits are all born of the thinking mind that's in time. Therefore, that doesn't actually understand what it is to be happy, because the thinking mind is trapped in time. Anything that's born out of time has to end, right? But there is something behind the thinking mind that never ends, that has no beginning and no end, which is the unknowable, which is the nameless. And that, from that, only from that, can you have joy, which is eternal, which can translate in your everyday happiness. Only from there can you actually have a true, can you secure your afterlife, because you understand by opening the doors of the nameless that there is no end. So there couldn't be any idea, any reason to secure the afterlife if you are nameless. If you have no beginning, no end, how could there be an afterlife if you are no beginning and no end? Could someone not be trapped anymore? As opposed to a mind that is free, right? Because in the end, when a teacher, a guru, can show you different techniques, right? Anyone can teach you how to ride a bike if they've done it. They can teach you how to swim, right? There's always a technique to anything, right? They can teach you a new subject. They can teach you how to do marketing, media, sales, how to cook. You can even teach yourself those things. And this is why it's extremely important to make a difference between, learning in this pattern, right, from the thinking mind, for things that are actually not eternal. That knowledge can never stop, right? There is always something to learn. But to be whole and to look at the world of pattern from a world that is permanent, it's a completely different mind. Now, one of the biggest corruption and conflict is born of the fact that the idea of the most fundamental problems or the solution that are brought to those ideas, such as, how can I be kind? How can I be compassionate? How can I be loved and loving? All these questions are usually answered by the thinking mind that has no understanding of love or compassion. It has an idea. It can only offer an idea, but the idea of is never the real thing. Just like the word enlightenment isn't enlightenment. To be enlightened is to actually experience what the word is referring to. The word compassion isn't compassion. So in order to experience compassion, kindness, love, joy, the mind has to completely become blank. It has to completely eject itself from the thinking mind. So that which is eternal has to stop the identification with the thinking mind. And this is very scary to anyone, because we want to be someone, we want to be something. We like that. We like to be called a director of, right? Director of this department. we like to be called a father. We take it so seriously that we even play the role of a father. Now, being called that and then accepting that identity as the only thing, regardless how many identities you have, is the beginning of conflict. Conflict, corruption, the all inner conflict and corruption, which always create a life of misery. Right? So a mind that is free isn't interested in being anything. And that's why it can be everything. Right? So do we need a guru to show us and tell us about things that are eternal, that are not of the thinking mind? Or is by default any guru going to impress themselves with their superstition, their understanding that is limited, which is nothing but a perspective, with their illusions? Because most of the time, this authority can't be questioned. And most people who are looking for a guru, once they find one, they usually have a preference, by the way. I prefer this guru because he's funnier. He's much more advanced. He's from India. He's from Tibet. I prefer this one because he's from there, right? He's funnier, he's more fun, he's this and this and that. To seek a guru, find one, is actually the end of investigation. And to stop all inquiries and all investigations is exactly the end of the possibility of being free. Because one has to be completely discontent with the current situation about consciousness in order to finally completely irreversibly be changed, transformed. Not a little bit, not just a partial change in which you get some information about to understand the brain better. No, I'm talking about a complete 360 change. So then once we have to answer truthfully if a guru has their own perspective of consciousness, and most of the time, rarely, they actually bring their own superstitions and illusions and misunderstanding and shortcomings into the minds of those who are looking to learn, then is that actually beneficial for those who are concerned and to completely be free? Total liberation. Not the ones who are looking to learn a little bit more and just go to bed. And who gave these gurus the authority to say and do what they have? How can we double check and triple check and question and challenge what they say if we are looking to rely on their perspectives? The idea here is not to stop, it's not to be against any guru at all, or any teacher, but is to understand that from what we are concerned about, which is the end of the thinking mind, can a guru actually help? I think there might be a very tiny window in which a guru can help. The window is so tiny that I think it's always best to actually embark on a journey of transcending life and total liberation by themselves. We're not against any teachings, any gurus, but a guru might be able to point at something, but in the end, the seeker has to question reject and keep inquiring and investigating until the mind is completely free. And no one can tell you when the mind is free. You know best. Perhaps now we wonder if there is a way you, me, anybody can be their own gurus. Right? Is that even possible? Because we have to find a way. We're looking for a way that it's ours, right? Can we be our own guru? Can we be our own student? Can we be our own teaching? Can we be our own light? Can we shine the light onto ourselves without needing any other light? Because after all, you are the world, the reflection of the entire physical world. You're the entirety of the consciousness itself. I'm the same thing. So, can you be the guru, the student, the teaching all at once? I think it's possible if just a little bit more observation. If we learn how to observe this thinking mind, this idea, right? This group of ideas that presents how we look, how we talk, what we think about ourselves, the culture we're born, our gender, our aspirations, our hopes, our understanding of the afterlife. If we can observe this thinking mind without actually trying to change it, right? Then you, which is the unmanifested, watching the identified mind, can actually open a door to transcending all of this, because you cannot transcend the life by creating something new from life. Creator of the pattern is always one, is always whole, but the pattern is always changing, is always different. Watching, observing the entirety of the pattern, the thinking mind, becoming the observer in this whole situation is the way to connect the unmanifested to the manifested. And that is the way someone can be a guru, a teacher, a student, a teaching all at once, at the same time. And that is the beginning of the enlightenment stage that frees us from all. We can still learn anything we want on the physical level. Yoga, meditation, breathing techniques, all of that. But in the end, in terms of total liberation, it's a completely different field. Instead of one way to actually even profoundly bring this change is not to get this information and then try to think about it another time and apply it. It's to understand this information, observe this information, listen to this information, and then actually do it. That's also the action. The understanding and the observation is the action. And then while doing that, disconnect oneself from the thinking mind, which means observing from the unmanifested or from the creator of all patterns, and then let the thinking mind be, is how you can eject totally, instantly from the condition that we are under. And at that time, you are the guru, you're the student, you're the teacher. You have become the light to yourself. All right, so thank you very much for listening. For the need for guru, I find this topic very interesting. Please like, subscribe, share this content on all to all your friends, and subscribe to all our channels and social medias. We'll keep you updated about the 3 new health products that we're working on, and hopefully you can support our page and our content. Now, this brings me to the next episode that I'm really excited about: reincarnation and karma. We want to explore these ideas and see what they truly mean for those who are interested in transcending all concepts and religion and spiritual systems, where they come from. We want to also see those who believe in these concepts. How do they live compared to their memories of the past lives, if they have any, the expectations of the next lives, the similarity we have and that we can observe with Christianity and Islam. And also want to see what it means to reincarnate or to incarnate, this idea of birth and rebirth, along with the divine and cosmic laws of karma, action and reaction, and a little bit more from the Hindu background about these concepts. We want to see if there is also a way to transcend all these concepts, as well as attractive and as powerful as they seem. We want to see if there is a way, right? So we'll dive deep into reincarnation and karma next time. Stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.